Hey, this is Kirk.
And this is Byrd. This is the Kirk and Byrd show, man. We have got the get of the year. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that have had these guys on, but we got them on at the same time, this close to the state championship. And I am very pleased to introduce Coach Mickey Thompson, winner of 3 state championships. He's been there 12 times with Stonebridge, a legend, definitely a Hall of Famer. He's going to be coaching Stonebridge on Saturday against Maury. And then we got Coach Darryl Overton, the Prince William legend, superstar player at Hilton High School, winner of state championships there, and the defending Class 6 state champion, record-breaking season, great team, and they're going against Highland Springs, the winner of the Class 5 state championship. Welcome to the show, Coach Overton and Coach Thompson.
Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah. Just like I told y'all before. So listen, y'all, we have here the Nick Saban and the Kirby Smart of Virginia high school football. All right. This is this podcast is going to go down in history. But look, Kirk, why don't you tell people where they can find us, and let's get into this episode.
Yeah, please subscribe to us on YouTube, and then we ask that you follow us on Twitter at the Kirk and Byrd. And we are starting a forum, and it's growing all the time on Facebook for discussing Nova high school sports, not just football and basketball, but all of the sports, including rowing, field hockey, you name it. It's the 703-540 Nova High School Sports Forum on Facebook. Take a look at that. We're doing all kinds of content daily, all of the information that's coming out of the exciting area of Northern Virginia. So
we wanted to specifically add 540 because Darryl, I know you coached in Stafford. Like, we need to be able to acknowledge all that talent down there in Stafford, in Fredericksburg, and King George, and even in Fauquier County. And Coach Thompson, for a long time, I think a lot of people just considered Nova, Fairfax, Arlington, Alexandria, but Loudoun and Prince William, we all up in this joint together. So let's get right into this. I'll start with you, Coach Thompson, and then I'm going to come to you, Coach Overton, and just a general thought on your team this year. You took 2 different paths. Now, we talked to both of you before the season started because we applauded your scheduling, all right? And we thought no matter what happened, whether you won or lost, your teams could grow from that. But we'll start with you, Coach Thompson. You started 0-4, and now you've been on a tremendous, 9-game winning streak. Tell us about your team and your thoughts on this season thus far.
Well, definitely disappointed with the way we started. And, yes, it was a tough schedule, but we played poorly also. And, I was a little surprised at how poorly we played. And then, with losing, it brings its own set of circumstances with it. So people start pointing fingers, and I didn't think that would happen, but that did a little bit. And so you had to grow through a little adversity, and winning helps that a little bit. I think we've made a lot of strides. We'll get a chance to find out Saturday just exactly what kind of strides we made, because we still make mistakes, but now we're getting away with it in places. But our mistakes are way down. We understand football a little bit better. We play together a little bit more. So you hope that we've made that growth. As I told them before, we've already played the state championship. We played them the state championship in those first 4 games.
Yep.
We played that kind of opponent, and, we were not ready then. Are we ready now? We got something to prove. So we got to prove that those 4 games meant something and that we grew from it by our performance on Saturday. So, I'm excited to find out what kind of growth we really have had, because this is an opponent, very comparable to those teams that we played earlier, except for good counsel. I think they're on another level. And that's what's amazed me as I watch Freedom. When I watched Freedom play DeMatha, that was one of that you have to put Freedom up there as one of the all-time best schools right now, public schools playing football right now.
Absolutely.
You have to give them their credit, because they deserve that. And, people that, don't realize that are amazing to me, because that's When you perform like that, you got to get credit for your performance, and they should be getting credit for especially the last 2 years. Unbelievable performance.
Yeah. Coach Overton, you guys are undefeated. You're on a streak now.
28.
Okay.
We're the last ones to get them in a very controversial game.
Yeah, we were at that game. Both of us.
Yeah.
Coach was pretty upset on that one.
Yeah,
for sure.
But so Coach, as you evaluate yourself, and I've said this now for 2 years. I was like, I knew y'all were going to have to be special last year based on the scrimmage with DeMatha last year. I was sitting up there and I was watching, man, from the press box. I was sitting with you. I was like, no, this team is different. It's something about them. And I've been quoted as saying, like, the offense has always been great. And you guys have had great teams. I said, but it's something about TJ Bush that is going to make that team even more special. Not saying y'all couldn't have won without him, but I noticed it. I was like, yo, this team and just the way the coaching and stuff, and that was just a special year, and you've continued it this year. But let me ask you, and so you scheduled some extremely difficult games. So it's two things. Coach Thompson has those tough games in the beginning, and they lost. And in my coaching experience, I've had undefeated, I've had not good seasons, but I've learned that from those losses, I can find some things to keep my kids humble. I can show them things they did wrong. How do you coach a team that's beating people by 40? It's got to be hard when you're talking about 15, 16, 17-year-olds. But if you could just wrap that into your thoughts on this season.
Well, first and foremost, it's kind of like you said, young people are young people, right? So you kind of got to keep the prize in their face. And one thing about my group of guys, I know that they're competitors. Even if on Monday through Thursday in some periods in practice, you got to find ways to keep them interested. I know when the lights flicker on Friday, they're going to be competitors. So kind of just, still on the page from playing, Coach Thompson 2 years in a row. And then same thing he did. Like, you just got to schedule good teams and good games so you know what you really have.
Yeah.
That's the thing that, people miss. Like, not only do it reveal, like, your weaknesses and stuff, but you don't know what you really have until it happens. And I think, again, I got much respect for Coach Hatfield, one of my dudes. Me and him talk. That was the first time that their face been in the fan. And I still think that's a pretty good football team, talent-wise. It's just they haven't had to play at the speed we had to play at yet because they haven't been faced with that type of challenge and adversity in the moment. So, like Coach said, it's a lot to be learned from playing against good opponents that allows you to get better, especially early in the season. And then again, the players is one thing, but, like Coach said, it's not just them, it's the coaches too. Like, I got to be able to be on my game, X and O's, making adjustments. And like Coach said, some of the people that you play during the season don't force you to do that. Everything worked the way you draw it up on the board. You know what I mean? So I learned that 2 years ago. Like, when the last time I had to play chess live and in action? And I just want to make sure, for me, to get better in the kids, that, I'm always ready. So, again, like you said, I felt like I knew we were good coming back. You know what you have, but you got to continue to find ways to get better every week. And I think we've seen it every way. Like, it don't matter if you're undefeated. It don't matter if you Stonebridge and you start off slow, or you Madison last year, you start off slow. The tail of good football teams are getting better throughout the season. And I think that's the most important thing that you got to do. And you got to figure out ways to do it.
I had a question for both of you. Rusty and I talked about what we were going to ask you guys. We're obviously, with all four teams' fan bases, we want to talk about the upcoming championship game on Saturday, which we'll both be at. But, we were talking about what have you learned about this team? And that's for each of you. I'm going to start with Coach Overton with Freedom. And, Coach, you've got a wealth of talent. And in this world where everybody knows what everybody's doing and the players are putting all their correspondence with schools and things like this and their graphics, we know about, Juju Preston just committed to Clemson, right? And we know about EJ Reed and we know about Cam Courtney. My question to you, Coach, and then we'll go to Coach Thompson, is there's 22 guys that are playing special teams and those starters. And it's very important, top to bottom, not just the guys that are going to play scholarship football, but the guys that are contributing to your team. A lot of expectations, Coach Overton. As Coach Thompson said, this is arguably, we've all been around this game for a long time and seen some great teams, but this is your team is one of the best. What have you learned about this team outside of the highly publicized guys? What have you learned about your defense? What have you learned about your special teams? Where do you think you guys have grown?
Again, we've definitely grown on the special team side of the ball. I'm not going to say putting emphasis on it, but just having a more sense of urgency at times, going over it and creating more live situations with that in practice. And then, to be honest, our defensive front is really good. As good as TJ was, we got that little 5'7" number 8 out there that's about 210 pounds that, wreaks havoc. He's been a special player. I was, shocked that he wasn't the regional player of the year, considering, but he was our district player of the year. I think, his contributions, can't go unnoticed. Our offensive line too, man. We had to replace 3 offensive linemen last year.
Right.
So that's always a scary thing. No matter what skill guys you have, you got to be able to block. And that's what football always going to come down to, blocking and tackling. So Justice Robinson stepped in at right guard for us. Is 51, been amazing. Big Maury, the left guard, has stepped in and been a scholarship level player for us. And then, Walter, and Juju are returners, so we've lost 2. So that group, along with how special number 8 has been on defense for us at times, and then, our 2 middle linebackers, sophomore kids. And then in the playoffs, Aaron Duncan at defense has just went to another level. So I'll let Coach finish up. But I think those are the things that I've learned as far as, who's going to step up and, make plays and fill voids that we had from last year.
Yeah.
But, Coach, before we go to Coach, I will say this. I do, especially folks back home right now, they're not liking what I'm saying about Phoebus and other things. And your brother tried to call me on, me talking about your special teams. Before the year, I said, hey, I don't know about the defense, but I'm happy to be wrong. Like, I did see, like, early on, I was worried, like, because to me, TJ, and again, I have a great affinity for TJ Bush because he played with my son at Bishop Ireton, and he's such, not just comes from a great family, great kid, but a great player. So I'm like, let's see how they do without him. But like you said, those other players stepped up. Your defense is good as it was last year. And then your special teams, like I said, hey, look, you didn't need your special teams last year. I saw what happened against DeMatha. Like, the only reason they were in the game is because of the block punts. That's it. Like, I was telling people, like, no, y'all, they was about to get smoked if it hadn't been that. So I did say, hey, the special teams, that's because as you go deeper in the playoffs, now it hasn't affected you yet, but a team like Highland Springs could. But I like how I see how your special teams in the kicking game, your return game has always been strong. So all those watching this, like, I'll tell you, like, I'm going to speak, and I'm going to try to keep it real to a certain degree. So thank you for not necessarily proving me wrong, but taking that challenge. I like to think I had a role in y'all saying, oh, we going to shut Rusty up. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Shut Rusty up.
We found that if we don't say a team's going to win 77-0, the other team finds a way to say that we're down on them or anything. We try
Kirk
to be
was a 3-sport star athlete at Phoebus. I'm from Hampton. I love my hometown. My dad coached Phoebus when I was a kid, and people hate me if I just say, King George might give you a game. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Like, all right, go ahead, Coach Thompson.
No, I was going to, Coach Thompson, it's interesting. You talked about this team that's teed up to take on another one of the all-time best teams in Virginia history with Maury. But, I've been able to watch you guys multiple times. I saw you at Martinsburg. I saw the Madison game. I saw you play Briar Woods. This is a team that has matured. You're going to be facing, a formidable opponent. But, one of the things that I noticed, there were a lot of penalties with the offensive line. That's cleaned up. And then I saw a defense. I was like, oh, man, this is a defense that'll bend. But that defense has shored up. You've had some guys step up. You're solid all the way around. Just asking, like, what are the differences that you've seen? There's some players that we're talking about at this point that I think have matured. You've got Jeter and Wimbush, two brothers, brother tandem there at one corner. Got Sean Robertson. You've got a great secondary, but your line and your linebackers have come a long way, and that's coming up, obviously on the toughest game you're probably going to play all year outside of good counsel. I just want to talk about the maturation of the team and some of these players that have stepped up, and there's a bunch more. But this defense, Coach, I can see it. A lot of the people around here that watch football has matured, and they're more stout. And I just want to give you the opportunity to highlight the maturation of the team, as well as some offensive linemen also and some of your other players.
Well, I think the big thing is, there's been a consistency of play that's improved, and through those first games, this is the first season where I have not been bored, to be quite honest. And it's been the best season we've had in a long time in the coach's office, because there's been a lot of you don't have the boredom that we've had before, but it's stressed the players' view. You find out if players are really loyal, if players are really coachable, because changes have to be made, and they have to be able to critique themselves. And I think what happened was you saw guys being able to accept criticism, being able to get better, understanding that this is us working together, and not pointing fingers. And I think as we moved forward, we saw more and more guys accepting coaching, accepting criticism, trying to get better, on both sides of the ball. Our quarterback play has really become solid with Brandon. He's doing a lot of great things. Even when he doesn't get a chance to throw as much, he's doing a lot of things of directing things and getting us in the right place. And he's really done a good job leading the team. And then, like you said, on defense, I think we've come a long ways. I think we still got a ways to go on offense. I think we can be better, more dominant, but we're working on that. But on defense, especially, you did point out the secondary. Miles Turpin leads us in the back, and then Jonathan Newton's play has really gotten much better, and he's kind of leading the linebacker corps. But having the last few weeks, we got Tyson Miller back, and Tristan Putnam has really been kind of the guy that's really brought us along and been solid for us on defense. And we've rotated a lot of guys up front with Moorhead, and now Christian Evans is playing both ways, so that's been really solid for us. We lost David Rodello for a little bit at center. Now he's back. That's an all-state player that's really shored that up. There's a lot of great things going on, and we can talk about the great teams and all that. We've had some pretty good ones too. So when we start putting, I'm not ready to put Maury on that level of Freedom of Woodbridge. I mean, they're a good team, but we're coming ready to play, and I think you'll see a big difference. I mean, I'm not trying to put bulletin board stuff up, but hey, we're a good football team. We're a good program, and we're always ready. And you're not gonna walk all over us, and you're not gonna get into this game without a fight. And we're coming to win. And
Right.
I think our mentality has gotten to that point, and we feel good about where we've come and where we're going. And I think our kids, a lot of our guys were going one way early on because what we try to do is we're trying to develop that chemistry within your team. So we two platoon early. So we were two platooning and playing those teams also. And then once you get down into the middle of the season, you got to start evaluating and start deciding, who are your best players that you can put on the field. So then you start having some two-way players and you start making some adjustments and moving some guys. You try to give everybody an opportunity early so that everybody's in it. But I think everybody has accepted their roles now. Everybody understands who they are and what they are to this team. And, I think we're going to go down there and give it our best shot. I think we're in a good situation. I feel good about everything. Like you said, we do a lot of great things. And then, we bend a little bit on defense like we did the other Saturday, but we were solid. There were a lot of penalties that were questionable, like there always are in the passing game. And, I thought we did a great job on defense. We were pretty efficient, especially early on offense. And then we got bogged down a little bit, but I'm excited about everything that we do. We got a lot of guys that are playing well. And, this program's been there 12 times, so it's not like the lights are too big for us. So our kids will be ready, and we'll see what happens.
Coach, is your kicker, is he good to go, Connor McLaughlin?
Yes, he is. Yep.
Yeah, that's
so he got cleared. That was big for us because we, the regional championship, we had to just squib it a little bit and do some things, but now we got him back. That's a great weapon for us.
Right.
Anytime you have a college kicker or kid that's going to kick in college at an FBS school, that's a valuable thing for us.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you, I mean, we're looking forward to this matchup, which is the twilight. Coach Overton and Freedom is going to be taking on Highland Springs in the opening game, but you're going to be facing a Maury team that, is a loaded football team. Don't necessarily know if we're going to put them on the Mount Rushmore of the Hampton 1996, 97, and some of those teams, but this is
Bethel
76. I'll help you with that one. At Beef Falls Church. So the thing is that this is a very good team. They're very well balanced.
They're well balanced. They're well coached. They got athletes at major positions.
Yep.
I really like the way they play their offensive line. I like the way they play. Their defensive line. There's not anybody where you say you can focus on or go at. So you have to play. There are times where you put some special plays in for a team because they got this weakness or that weakness. We're putting our game plan together, especially tonight, and it's like, well, there are no real weaknesses, so we got to just do what we do well and hope we're successful. Because there's not a whole lot that you can find where you think you can attack them. So it is a challenge.
That's what I was leading you into, is the fact that they are strong all around. I know that on the defensive side, their junior Ari Watford is starting to play extremely well, and but they have not faced an offense close to the single wing, and we all know that the single wing can vary quite a bit and be confusing. I think that based on we've seen Maury play, I think you're going to have a very good, well-rounded game, and it's great that Brandon Pena is playing well. But your running backs, I believe, are going to play a key role, and that's Troy Marquez and Tyson Miller. And I believe Troy's coming off of an injury from a couple of weeks ago. How are your running backs doing, and how key is that going to be for your running backs and your running game to be well-tuned against this great Maury team?
Well, I mean, we've had in the 2 times we played, we've had moderate success offensively with them. I mean, we're not. I think they. I think they play probably the best defense against us that we see. We see very consistent defense where they're not confused. They know how to play football. They're well coached. So I don't think they're going to have any problems with us single wing wise. I mean, it's just going to be, can we move the football, whether it's spread, whether it's single wing? Can we effectively move the ball? Running the football, because offensively they're so explosive that you do have to occupy the clock. You have to occupy the ball, and you have to get first downs. You can't be 3 and out all the time, or it's a disaster. So that's going to be important for us. And what that looks like, I don't know. Troy's fine. He had a thigh contusion, so it's not like it's just a little sore.
Yep.
So we should be solid there. We're pretty healthy considering this time of year. I mean, yep. I think we're in pretty good shape, and that is going to be a key. How well we move the ball to give our defense a break, and you know, keep them off the field a little bit because they are. I mean, they can score in a minute. So
yeah, I'm gonna let Rusty intro into the Class 6 matchup, which is going to be another good one, Freedom and Highland Springs. But before I do that, Coach, 2 years ago, game came down to the last play. Everybody calls it a Hail Mary. I don't. I thought it was a design play. But we know that folks down there have been talking about playing Stonebridge again, and the way that it's teed up. They've been talking about playing Stonebridge a very long time. And I know here up in Northern Virginia, especially in Loudoun County, that we know that Maury, with Highland Springs moving up to 6, and Coach Overton is going to face the Springers. This is a widely anticipated matchup. So last question for you is, how do you manage the hype and the emotion? Because Maury obviously wants payback for that state championship that you won a couple of years ago. How do you manage that with these kids, that bus ride down to Charlottesville and going after your 4th title?
I don't know if you have to manage it. I mean, our kids are excited. This is a different group. So, you know, most of these kids were just, if they were on the team, they were role players when we won it 2 years ago. So, you know, they feel the sense of, you know, the past, that they're going to live up to the past, and they want to, you know, the alumni, they want them to feel you know, that they have a great team also, so they want to live up to the Stonebridge tradition. And so you know, that was a great game. That was you know, a finish that we had back-to-back finishes like that. You know, I remember when we lost to Phoebus, I just wanted to get back and play Phoebus, you know. That's all we talked about. We want to get back and play them again, you know. Same thing. When you lose it, you just want to get back. That's all we've been talking about. We lost to Highland Springs last year, and that's all we've been talking about is getting back to this game. You know, and we're excited about it, and you know, I feel good about it. I know, you know, I think all the payback stuff, all that is, you know, I think that's overhyped. I think coaches are more into that. Like, I wanted to get back as a coach, you know. The hype is more in the coaches, I believe, because I'm sure they want to beat us and get back to, you know, winning it like they did 19. I mean, they pretty much whooped us in 19, and you know, we had to come back. We made it a closer game at the end, but we got off to a bad start, you know, and we wanted to get back and play Maury again. That's all we talked about, but we never got back to play Maury. We got back to play Highland Springs, you know, and so they didn't get back to us last year. They played Highland, you know. So it's been 2 years. So the kids changed, but I know in their minds they wanted to get back and play us. So,
Coach, speaking of 2019, my niece went to Maury. She's very good friends with Eric Gibson, the quarterback from 2019, and then Eric mentors my nephew Blake. But when you all were 2 and 4. I went down for an ODU game, hanging out at their house, but I have Eric on the phone. And already this talk was about Stonebridge. Like nothing else. Now, he hasn't played in 4 years, but nothing else we could talk about. But I was like, look, don't be fooled. Those 4 losses are going to make them strong. I looked at their schedule. I said, it's going to be Stonebridge and Maury in the final. And I was calling it back then, and Eric was like, I don't know. I said, and you know what? And I don't care what y'all do this year. Stonebridge, I don't care what their record is. I don't care how much they win or lose by. I said, but Stonebridge is the team in Class 5 that can take out Maury. So I talked all that junk to Eric. Please help me be able to keep it up. All right. I want to be able to FaceTime him from Charlottesville and be like, I told you. All right. So I know you'll take care of it. I know you got my back.
okay.
Coach Overton, I want to start with you by first saying this. A lot of people, we do not have a lot of great things to always say about the VHSL, but I will say this. They got this one right.
Yep.
Once Highland Springs moved up and whatever forces it took to get this done, the fact that this is the championship game, I'm like, okay, VHSL, I appreciate that. And it was proven just how you guys handled your business in the semifinals. This was the game we all wanted to see. And we've been saying it since we knew they moved up. We were all just like, oh, man, it's going to be the semifinal game. But no. So VHSL, I'm saying it. Thank you. This is going to be fun because I don't know which game should be the first game and which should be the second. Because I've been saying that since it was y'all going down there with Westfield, and Westfield was playing Oscar Smith, and y'all were playing Highland Springs. And I'm just like, oh, this is just heaven. This is football heaven. So Coach Overton, look, this is the game people have been talking about for a minute. You're both, I don't know how many times this has probably ever happened, defending state champions playing each other. Because usually you're in the same class. All right. Unless it was like that basketball 2 years ago when COVID, like, okay, we'll just both of y'all get a championship. Coach, tell us, what is it that you guys, I'm not going to say anything, I don't need to know any specific game plan, but what are your thoughts about Saturday? And I think you guys, I don't know if you've played Highland Springs in a regular season game, but I think you've scrimmaged them before, right?
Yeah, Coach, we scrimmaged them, I want to say 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At Randolph-Macon.
Mm-hmm.
The year that we actually we went to the state championship and lost to
Manchester. It's Manchester. Okay.
So we scrimmaged in that year. But like you said, I coached as an assistant against Coach Johnson when he was at Stonewall Jackson, Union Reed now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. My brother was playing, so I known him a long time. Got respect for him. Like I said, I'm happy to be in this. I told them I'm at the little kid table at Thanksgiving because I got one state championship. I'm trying to get at the big table with him, Coach Thompson, Coach Blunt, and some of those guys, you know what I mean? So Coach Brown, so I'm trying to get there. But, like you said, I know everybody was pumping this up, but the coach in us won't let us talk about it because it hasn't happened. You know what I mean? You're dealing with young people. You got to get better every week. You never know. Somebody go crazy on you in a second. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with young people. But, like you said, it's the two best teams in our class, obviously. So it planned out that way. They back to back or whatever. They the standing champs. They got a lot of pride about what they do. They run the ball. They tough with that. They do a lot of things, to try to formation you and gain an advantage in the run game. But it's going to be a great atmosphere. Ironically, we the AD, the DSA, sorry, Harry Lee, like we all joke around and talk stuff. Me and Coach Johnson talked on the phone last night for like 20 minutes just talking about football stuff and, stuff that's happened. So, number of respect, I'm trying to, like you said, I want this one, too. I want this. I want to get at the big table with, with him and Coach Blunt, Coach Thompson, and some of those guys that's got multiple. So, we just got to, like Coach said, we got to do what we do, and stay, confident in our ability while acknowledging what they do. I think that, our styles are comparable, you know what I mean, as far as that goes. But like you said, it's seeing our guys be bigger, faster, stronger a year later, at the skill position and what they bring to the table. I tell everybody it's always got to see how you adjust to that when it's happening. And then, we go from there. But, like you said, I love the opportunity. Again, two best teams in our class. We're going to make it happen.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I was just going to ask you about Highland Springs. They're similar in Maury that they're very well-rounded. With Byrd and Cole Varner, got a great rushing attack, and they've gotten healthier there. Highland Springs overall, with the Virginia Tech commit, Noah Jenkins, he's gotten healthier. They are healthier. Christian Martin, he's playing better. So you're facing a very well-balanced offense. Now, you've played, some great teams this year. You played another East Richmond team in Verina. But talk about the challenge that this poses for Freedom when you're looking at a Highland Springs team that can beat you both on the ground as well as in the air for your defense over there, Freedom.
Well, like I said, I think it's acknowledging their strengths. Like you said, power running team. You know, not a knock on, you know, their receiver, the quarterback. I think we got an advantage on the back end and the secondary stuff. I don't think, you know, I think it's tough to line up 4 guys better than the 5 we got in the secondary.
Right.
So I think we got to be disciplined in our run fits and our run game stuff versus what they do, you know, with their power run game. And then, like you said, this time of year, Coach Johnson does a good job incorporating the quarterback more into the run game. So, you know, just being good with that stuff, man. And, you know, like, again, it never falls too far from the tree, but playing good teams and building yourself up as a coach where you've played against good running teams, where you got to be disciplined in your run fits. You know, we feel like we've seen some of the stuff they're doing. We just got to acknowledge what they do best and just be sound. That's it. Be sound on defense and continue to make plays.
Yeah. Well, look, guy, this has been, like, I'm a football junkie, clearly. Like, this has been amazing. This is great. Like, we got it right from you guys, you telling us, but like everybody acknowledges, like, the 4 coaches that will be in Charlottesville on Saturday are all just outstanding. Like, yeah, y'all got talent, but everybody can't coach talent. And it doesn't mean you're going to win. Right. So that kind of neutralizes everything. You got great programs, you got great athletes, you got great kids that outside of football are just good kids. Like Kirk lives in Loudoun County. I live in P. Willie. Like, I'm pulling for y'all, and I know you can do it. And so, man, just handle your business, man. Y'all got this.
Yeah.
Anything y'all want to close on? Coach Thompson, anything, any last words or thoughts?
I really don't. You said it all.
Okay.
We put something out before we put this out. We both picked Freedom to beat Highland Springs. We both picked Maury.
I knew that. But
I will say this. We believe in Stonebridge's chances of beating Maury probably bigger than anyone else. Don't be surprised if the Stonebridge Bulldogs pull off the upset on Saturday. But coaches, thank you very much. We appreciate y'all taking the time. We know it's a busy week. We've got a lot going on.
Thank you.
Can't wait till
Coach
Saturday.
Overton, anything, any last thoughts? Anything you want to say or give a shout out to?
Yeah, man, I tell everybody, make sure you like, subscribe, and share.
There you go.
Support our kids. And, you know, much respect to Coach Thompson. He a GOAT for sure, man. Like I said, I'm trying to get at them dudes' table. Good luck to him. He been nothing but a good dude to me, class act. When we played him, I talked to him. So all love on this side.
Yeah, no doubt.
Same to you, Coach. Appreciate
well, thank you. And again,
we'll see
Mickey,
you both on Saturday.
My strategy, Mickey, is this. Like, I got nieces and nephews going to Maury, so if I go against them, this is what FIBA's fans are hating me right now. And they actually use it as bulletin board material. So I don't want to give them that. I'm going to give you a chance to get in there and hit the chalkboard, if they even still have those, and say, that Rusty Byrd, let's show him. And then, you know, that's how it'll work. And I'll be like, yeah, I called it. All right. So look, thank you guys, man. This has really been a blessing. So for Coach Thompson, Coach Overton, and my co-host, Kirk, this has been the Kirk and Byrd Show with 2 great, not just coaches, but great men. We are out.